Hi there, Chad here from Koubou. If I seem a little wired right now, I've had probably 12 cups of coffee, and it's now 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been up all night just getting Koubou ready for launch. It's coming in a couple days now, more like a day and a half, I guess. And if you're in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. It is officially Thanksgiving here in Tokyo, so happy Thanksgiving. What I want to do is just show off Kobo, and the view that you're seeing right now. This is what it looks like when you've gone through the onboarding process. Like you connect, you log in, right, and you'll connect your OpenRouter account and activate a license key. And once you do that, you'll land right here and you'll be able to create your first project. What I'm going to do is just create one called Story. Yeah, let's create 2 stories. And then what you'll see here is like a 3-pane layout. On the left over here is so your project files, folders. You can manage your projects down here. Right now I've only got one, but if you had multiple, you could search through and swap between different projects. Pretty useful for organizing your stuff. And you can then create new projects and delete them and stuff like that here. Make backups and that kind of stuff. Now everything that you see that I'm going to be doing here is all stored locally in your browser. That's why the backup stuff is important. Nothing is actually stored out in our cloud servers, and so your data, your content is private and local to you. So if you are concerned with that kind of thing for the type of content that you're creating, you don't have to worry about that. Nothing ever touches our servers for Kobo. So first thing is first, let's create a folder. I'll just call it story. And then inside of here, I will create a new text file and I'll just call it, I don't know, ramen. And so what will happen is I've got this this file open, and I can have multiple files open. Right now I've only got one, but if I have more open, you'll see more tabs across the top here, and you can easily and quickly swap between different files. And then in this other panel over here are some tools that we'll have available. Now by default, when you connect, it'll actually be in this view. Just happens to be that I was in the smart prompts the last time I was doing some stuff here in Kobo, so it remembers where you are the last time that you were connected, and it'll reload back in that state. And you also have the ability to kind of resize these panes depending on how you prefer, to work. Maybe like a narrower content area or whatever. This will also be important later when you're reviewing some stuff to, if you need more space to review it, it's really nice. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy in a prompt here that's just, it's a real simple prompt. I'm just going to copy it right to here, and I'm going to turn this on. This means that when this, oops, let me paste it right here. What this means is when I run this prompt, it's actually going to generate the content inside of the editor, so inside of the document that I'm working in. And the AI model that this is going to use, we can see that over here. We come over and hover over this. It's going to use the Google Gemini 2.5 Flash model. If I click on this to open up the models, these are all the models that are available from OpenRouter. So you can come in here and choose whichever model you want. You can even use the new Opus 4.5 from Anthropic. Pretty cool stuff, but you have the ability to favorite stuff if you want to make a little short list of models that you like to use to make it easier to pick the ones that you want. If you happen to have Ollama and you configure it to work with Kobo, then you can have you'll have a little local button here, and you can choose from the models that you have installed in your Ollama, which means that if you have a nice workstation that can run some of the more powerful local models, you'll be able to take advantage of those through Kobo as well. And you have access to the typical AI settings like temperature, top P, and stuff like that. And that all runs. That's what is used. Sorry. Like I said, it's 4 in the morning. Please forgive me. When you run this prompt here. So let's go ahead and just let Gemini 2.5 Flash go ahead and run and write this little whimsical tale of no more than 300 words here. And so we've got this tale. That's pretty cool stuff. This is a one and done kind of prompt. It's like the manual prompt field, and it gives you the ability to kind of do stuff here that you might want to work on. If you turn this off, the content would actually be generated beside the document. And that is very important for certain types of tasks that you're trying to do. If you are maybe trying to get something rewritten or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy in another prompt here and paste that in here. And it says story, selected text, rewrite the story in a dark, hard-boiled crime novel style. And then what I'll do is I'll select this text and I'll run this prompt. And so what's going to happen is it's going to rewrite it in a different style, right? So, okay, maybe I like that, maybe I don't, but it gives you the chance to see it sort of side by side with the content that you're working on in your document. And that's pretty cool and all, but you know, you're still just kind of writing your prompt over and over again. Let me just go ahead and cut this. And what I'm going to do now is, if I click here on smart prompts, like right now I don't have any, but if I click here, we're going to create our first one. And I'm just going to click create prompt, and I'm going to paste this in here. Let's go ahead and change the name of this to rewrite in hard-boiled. Again, I need to learn how to type it now, don't I? In a hard-boiled style. All right, and let's go back. Now we've got a little button here. It's kind of, I need to restyle it. Like I said, this is pre-launch information. Sorry if it looks a little bit off. What I'll do is, let me just go here real quick. Go into smart prompts. We'll create a folder, and we'll say story tools. Okay, create that, and we'll drag that into there so that it's inside of story tools. Now when we're in here, you can see it's a little bit nicer of an interface. Okay, so that's the same prompt that we just ran to rewrite it in a hard-boiled crime thriller kind of style or something, right? So we can select this text, and now we can just click here, and the same exact thing is going to happen just on the fly. But I didn't have to rewrite the prompt this time. It's always there, ready for me to use, and it's based off of what we call a dynamic variable, which just means it's a content that is inside of the editor while I'm working, right? And in this case, selected text, which means that the content that I select inside of my document is what will automatically go over and fill that space in the prompt. So if I take a look at this again, this right here, it's the selected text that I have in my document, and it's going to run the prompt with all that content. And that's how we're able to produce this type of result. And we can see it beside again so that we're able to compare and contrast. And the whole idea is that Koubou is sort of a workbench. In fact, the word Koubou means workbench or maybe kind of studio. You can kind of think, that ancient Japanese craftsman, swordsmith and that kind of stuff where they're, mastering their trade. It's kind of the goal here is a human plus AI to create content, not trying to get AI to do everything for us. It's more of a collaboration with AI, but also to give you the ability to create the tools that you need. So you can imagine, if you think about this for a second, this smart prompt right now, I mean, it's pretty basic, right? Oops, I ran it. It's pretty basic, right? But if we go into here, let's say, imagine that you've got the perfect prompt that you really like, and you set it up here in your smart prompts library. Now imagine when you have a whole bunch of them. They're just all these little things that you like to do when you're writing. Whether you're a creative writer writing a fiction novel, or if you're a marketer, copywriter, you're doing product descriptions for your ideal customer profile, whatever it is, and you set up the perfect prompts that you like to use, they're kind of just there, always ready for you to work in and use, right? I want to show you one more thing about smart prompts that's kind of interesting too. And what I'll do is, let's see, let's take, remember that where we said the whimsical tale? Let's go ahead and come into here and we'll create a new prompt. And this is write a whimsical tale, and then it says about a ramen food truck, right? Let's see. Let's cut this and we'll say about the topic or the story idea. Let's do it like that. Story idea. Okay, let's just go back and let's do story idea just to give it a label. And let's put a variable here. We'll just call it story idea. All right. So this is a unique variable, and it's not one of the predefined things, right? It's not selected text. It's not like a last paragraph or something in your document. So with it being unique like that, it does a special thing inside of here. And let's go ahead and give this a name like write tale. Okay, and put that in our story tools and back into our document here. Let's go ahead and just delete this. So we've got write tale. Now when I click it, see how we get story idea there? That's because we named the variable story idea, but it has nothing to kind of automatically and pre-fill that with. So it's asking for us to give it some information before running with the AI. So we can say the ramen food truck, owner struggling to make it on a new Mars colony. All right, so let's turn this on to stream it to the editor and write. So all that content is going to come over here. And now we've got a reusable prompt that pops up a field for us to fill in some extra details to give it before it uses the AI. So you can have as many different types of variables and fields and stuff in there as you need for your prompts. And it's just a really powerful capability. That's what I mean by smart prompts, is because you can create these really nice reusable tools for yourself. Now, I won't go into workflows in this video, but you can think of workflows as sort of multi-step capabilities of smart prompts, in addition to other things besides prompting. And it's a visual, like if you know anything about N8N or like a Zapier or some of those sort of visual flow builders, it's very similar to that. And it gives you the ability to create almost agent-like behaviors to create even more powerful tools to get even cooler things done in this workbench environment. Now, besides the smart prompts, if we open up our toolbox here, we have blueprints, personas, and workflows I just mentioned. These are all really powerful capabilities. Can't go into all of it right now here, but one of the really cool things I'm doing is I'm building a recipes library, which hopefully after launch I can add more. But when we open this up, in this particular one, it's a bunch of smart prompts that are designed to be utilities. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I want, let's see, critique content sounds interesting. And let's install that to our story tools folder, and we'll install. Okay, so we go over to our smart prompts and we have the critique content. It says you're a constructive critic, providing balanced, insightful feedback. And it's got some stuff in there, and it's got selected text again. All right, that's pretty cool. So let's go back over here. We got our story tools. Look, content critique content is there. Go ahead and select our text. It's not running to the editor, so we'll see our critique on the side here. And there we go. Strengths, strong opening hook, areas for improvement. There we go. Now you can imagine, maybe if you're an SEO writer and you can have it find ways that you can enhance your content to better perform in SEO, or if you're a creative story writer like this, there's lots of different things that you can do here, and you can build your own tool set. So I know this video is getting a little long. Sorry, it's been a very long sprint today, but I'm super excited because this is coming out to be super powerful. And don't forget, right now Black Friday deal is going on. Technically this launches on Black Friday, but it's the way that the early adopter launch right now is set to the same price, so you can actually go ahead and buy a license now if you want to. But this comes out on 28 November, so like another day and a half, and the deal will be on until 2 December. So if you're interested, feel free to ask any questions and hit reply and let me know. Or if you're watching this on something like maybe YouTube or X or something, just post a comment, and I will try to follow up. And I hope you find this interesting. And until next time, take care.